actually makes stock motion video. They're properly told narratives.
What do you mean?
I think that's the name of the channel. What do you mean with an exclamation point and a question mark?
The next question, which is, what do you mean?
You will learn something new in this channel.
In 2004, former footballer for the team Essendon, Michael Long, walked from Melbourne to Canberra. He left on the 21st of November in 2004, and he walked the 650 kilometres. That's just over 400 miles. He was walking to bring awareness to the gap in between the average lifespan of Indigenous Australians versus non-Indigenous Australians. I will have links to the site, The Long Walk, below, which it did take me until I wrote everything down, how clever that name is. I believe another walk was planned because nothing's been done to address the issue. It's only become worse. So Michael Long was going to walk it again, but I think it may have been called off or postponed due to health reasons. That was 2018, I believe that was planned for. In September of 2016, Clinton Pryor, a 27 at the time, Waljuk Baladang Kija and Yolparija man. Forgive me, I really do try with my pronunciation. But yeah, on the 8th of September 2016, Clinton started his journey to Canberra from Perth. The 6,000 kilometre, which is roughly 3,700 miles, journey that took him through all but 2 states, where he gathered stories from different Indigenous people in different communities across the country. He attended the funeral of Elijah Dothie, who I've talked about in the first official What Do You Mean video. And Clinton arrived after about a year to Parliament House in September 2017 to demand action for the injustice he's seen on not just his people but all people. I'll have a link to his website, clintonswalkforjustice.org, below. Also starting in 2016 and ending in 2017, but it being a lot quicker because they started in 2016 in December. From Adelaide, Ned and his dad Adam walked 1,200 kilometres, roughly 745 miles, to bring attention to the awful conditions in which Australia holds refugees in offshore detention centres. Articles I've read explain that what prompted the two to walk from South Australia to Canberra with a petition that calls for the closure of Manus and Nauru detention centres was during a drive home. Ned asked his dad why 2 refugees set themselves on fire the previous year. Ned said, "Dad, what can be done about it?" And I just said nothing, Adam tells SBS. This look just came on his face like, "What do you mean you can do nothing? You're my father." I always taught Ned that men stick up for women and children and men stick up for what's right, so I really had to ask myself, how the hell could I try to teach that to my son when I wasn't willing to live it myself? Now I'll play a interview that Adam has with a journalist about their second walk to Canberra over the same issue. But that time they walked from Sydney. I think what he says is really great, so I'm going to play that for you now.
Why are you hitting the road again?
Because it's still going on. To me, as someone who's a really patriotic Aussie, it's just not, we don't do that sort of stuff. The day that my country doesn't look after, strangers, and the day that my country allows kids to be locked up for 5 years is the day I'll head off to Canberra. So here we are.
What are you trying to achieve with this walk?
Mostly it's about calling attention to the issue. And if in some small way, even 10 people found out about the issue as a result of what we're doing, then it would be worthwhile. It's that simple. It's just, what else can you do? You can't sit there and do nothing.
This time you're encouraging others to get involved. How will that work?
I really would love to have, younger people involved because, I think this is an issue that, with respect, I believe that our kids are going to have to deal with the shame of it in time to come. And the other thing is the cost. $1 billion a year. The Senate budget estimates $1 billion a year when we've got pensioners with inadequate support and servicemen returning from overseas with inadequate support. There's so much that our country needs that money rather than wasting on being cruel to these hapless souls. It's not good enough.
Do you think it will help raise awareness about this issue to involve more people this time?
Yeah, that's the idea, is that I'd love to get kids involved because they're the future. And hopefully if, maybe the politicians aren't listening to the adults, maybe, just maybe, they'll listen to the kids. And so the idea is if other people get involved, then, maybe we'll be listened to. One can but try.
Has Ned changed since that big walk with you last year?
No, not at all. And he's very, very laid back about it and doesn't see it as, he's very low key. He's not in the slightest bit big-headed about it, and, nor should he be for that matter. And he's still going to give me crap the whole way over, and I'm sure that we'll still be playing fly-catching competitions. And he laughs because I walk with my mouth open quite a bit and catch flies, and he thinks that's hilarious. So, he's not out trying to preach to the masses or anything like that. I think it's just something that he believes in and is willing to, put himself on the line and go for a walk. I admire him tremendously for that because he walked a lot of that walk. His feet were a lot better than mine, but he was in blisters as well. He was blistering up and kept going. He's a tough kid.
What's your message to the federal government as you're heading towards Canberra this time?
Stop it. Just stop it. It's just not acceptable.
Do you think walks like this make a difference? Do you think actions like this make a difference?
I think that people standing for what's right is the only thing that's ever made a difference. And maybe what Ned and I are doing won't. I don't pretend that we're going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. But unless people stand up, it never will change. And so, it's not really important whether we make the difference, but it's important that we try.
That's Adelaide Barrister Adam Richards speaking with Stephanie Smale.
I love it. Just stop. Stop it. Right on, Adam. And of course, links below for finding out more about Ned and his dad, and if you want to sign the petition or anything else. Now, in May of 2018, Alwyn Doolan started his journey, but we'll get back to that because since he started his in 2018, at the end of the same year, in October to November, Alan walked the flip of what Ned and Adam just did and went from Canberra to Sydney. But you see, Al is 86 years old. It took Al 28 days to complete his 320 kilometre, roughly 198 mile trek, and he did this in the name of suicide prevention. And of course I'll have links to further information on Al's walk for life. And to quote Al, even if it's to save one life, it's entirely worth it. Now back to Alwyn Doolan, a Gurran Wagga Wagga man. As I previously said, started his journey in May 2018 to bring a message stick to Canberra from Cape York, one of the most northernest points of Queensland, and he completed his journey this year in May, on the 22nd of May, after walking 8,500 kilometres, which is about 528 miles. And of course links will be included below. And I would like to mention that during the research of all this, I took it upon myself to use some of the Patreon money I had left to give a small donation to each of these causes. So that's where your money's going if you support What Do You Mean. And I felt the need to make this video as a appreciation to the mammoth effort by all these great people and to bring more attention to all of them. As Adam said, if you've got me, then 9 other people find out about all of this, then his and Ned's effort is worth it in his eyes. So let's make it worth it for them, guys. And now this has really got me motivated. I used to joke often about just walking to Parliament and yelling about things that made me mad. And obviously it's been done and it can be done and people are willing to do it, but they don't get nearly enough attention, especially for what they're fighting for. That's probably part of the reason is why mainstream media doesn't pick up on any of this. But I would be in my right mind to reach out to all these people and gather them and gather as many other people. I'll get Extinction Rebellion and just the biggest crowd I can possibly get and walk to Canberra from some other point in Australia, demanding everything. Action for the environment, a federal independent commission against corruption, to raise New Start to stop the robo-debt, for Indigenous people, for refugees, to raise their wages. Yeah, I'd be in my right mind to do that. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. If you can, maybe chuck in some extra help on Patreon. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and always taking requests. Much love. Peace out, guys.
I think that people standing for what's right is the only thing that's ever made a difference.